Salutations from Wizard Studios. I am the Wizard. We have another news episode coming to you. Before we get into it, I want to remind everybody to please give this video a thumbs up. Really helps out the channel when you do. Also, subscribe for more MMA content. First up, we have Sean O'Malley says Henry Cejudo is too cringy to watch. He says he's really good and he's a great fighter and everything, but he's just too cringy for him to watch. Now, I would have to agree with Sean O'Malley here. Henry Cejudo is definitely too cringy for my taste, but it seems like it's working for him. We have to think about that. And also, I cannot wait until Sean O'Malley gets his title shot. I've been thinking about it, and I don't know if there's really a better fight for Henry Cejudo than Sean O'Malley right now. Maybe Corey Sandhagen, but Sean O'Malley looks absolutely perfect in everything that he does. I mean, the guy, I'm sure, has flaws here or there, but we haven't seen it. We have not seen it yet. I want to see his jiu-jitsu game and maybe his wrestling defense, but I mean, we saw a little bit of that, but we haven't really seen too much of it. Now, I mean, in the fight where he had the broken foot and the guy kept shooting for the takedowns and stuff, we can't really count that because Sean O'Malley had a broken foot in that fight. So, him against Henry Cejudo, one of the best wrestlers the UFC has ever seen, probably the best wrestling pedigree for sure that the UFC has ever seen. So, Sean O'Malley versus Henry Cejudo, I cannot wait for that fight. You know, I think if Sean O'Malley gets one great win, he can fight for the title. And that is a fight that I want to see. Paul Felder says he misses the fire. Says he can't wait to fight again. Also says he will never take it for granted. Now, Paul Felder, of course, was thinking about retirement. And now I guess with everything that's going on, he is just, chomping at the bits to get back in there. And Paul Felder is perhaps one of the most entertaining fighters in the 155-pound division. So, if I can think about a fight for Paul Felder right now, I would like to see him go up against Ali Aquinta. Just two bangers. That fight was supposed to happen, I believe, in the past. And so that is a fight that I would really love to see. He also talks about his commentary, and he would love to get back in there and do that right now. And so, maybe we see Paul Felder call some fights out of the Apex. Maybe we see him call some fights out of Fight Island. Paul Felder is chomping at the bits. And that's good because I really did not want him to retire. He's the type of guy that just brings the fire. And he misses the fire right now. So I cannot wait for Paul Felder to get a little bit of that fire back. Just taste that fire, if you would want to call it that. I mean, the guy is, he's just a killer. And he comes forward, throws big bombs, and he's a great commentator. So I cannot wait for him to get either one of those jobs going. Commentary or fighting. I want Paul Felder in the mix. Alexander Volkanovski wants the rematch with Max Holloway. Says he will fight on Fight Island. Says if he has to, he will do his whole camp there. And this time, he will finish Max Holloway inside 5 rounds. Now, Alexander Volkanovski, okay, he is the champion at 145. I know that Max Holloway is regarded as one of the best 45ers of all time, if not the very best, between him and Jose Aldo. Now, for Alexander Volkanovski to say that he will do his camp at Fight Island, I mean, if you think about that, and he said, you know what, he'll take the city kickboxing guys out there, and he'll get ready for it. I believe him. I believe he will do that. I believe that he wants to finish Max Holloway inside of 5 rounds. He says he shut him out last time. He wants to make an even bigger statement this time. I believe all of that. I do not know if he can finish Max Holloway. That dude is so hard to finish. Dustin Poirier hit him with bombs, and Max still came on. You know what I'm saying? I believe that Alexander Volkanovski is one of the hardest hitters at 145. That is without a doubt. He put away Chad Mendes, okay? We can't forget about that. Now, I don't know. I really don't know. I don't believe he can finish Max Holloway. But if he says that's what he's going to do, I believe that he is going to go in there and try to take his freaking head off. And I can't wait to see that. I want to see if he's serious and bring city kickboxing out there. I know it's not his main camp, but it's the one that he mentioned. I want to see if he really takes him out there and if he does his camp on Fight Island. Because if he does that, that means that this dude is tuned in and he wants to freaking prove a point. and I want to see it. Is Ferguson versus Gaethje the right fight for the interim title? Now, I've seen a lot of people talking about this. They're like, man, this isn't the right fight. Ferguson should wait for Khabib. Ferguson should do this. Ferguson should do that. Who are we to tell Tony Ferguson what he should do? Now, if he loses, then we may not ever get the Khabib fight. And if we do get it, it may not have the same taste, the same flavor, what we wanted. But we have to think about this. Who are we to tell Tony Ferguson what to do? Justin Gaethje is a killer. Justin Gaethje takes people's heads off. He comes in there for one thing and one thing only, and that's for glory. That's because he wants to win, and that's because he is in there to prove a point every single time he steps in the cage, okay? And he's gotten smarter. He's not just going in there and just trying to move forward and not worry about anything else, okay? Move forward and throw bombs, that's it. He is taking his time a little bit more, but still has that ferocity. I cannot wait to see this fight. I believe that this fight is the right fight. I know we want Khabib and Tony, okay? But Khabib cannot fight right now, and Khabib is about to go into Ramadan, if he's not already in it, all right? I'm not sure what day that starts or whatever, but we have to think about that. Who are we to tell Khabib not to do that, right? Who are we to tell Tony Ferguson to wait, all right? Now, I was getting ready for that Justin Gaethje versus Conor McGregor fight, but you know what? If Justin Gaethje beats Tony Ferguson, we may get that fight. We may get Conor McGregor versus Justin Gaethje because Conor McGregor wants to fight, and he wants to fight, what, 3 times this year, right? So Conor McGregor may have to still face Justin Gaethje, I guess, for Justin Gaethje's defense of the interim title. That is what I predict to happen. Joanna wants the rematch with Zhang Weili. She says she doesn't fight for money, but that fight will be for money. And now we have to remember that they didn't get paid that much for that fight. I've talked about that in the past, okay? Very underpaid for that fight. So if we go back and we think about Joanna, or if we're looking forward rather, and we're thinking about Joanna and that rematch, I do not want Joanna to take that fight, or Zhang Weili to take that fight, if they are not getting, after everything's said and done, around $1 million. Because for what they put on in that first fight, that might be the best fight ever. I mean, you're talking about Robbie Lawler and Rory McDonald and Zhang Weili and Joanna Jędrzejczyk. I mean, those 2 fights, in my opinion, are the very best of all time. I do not know if there's a better fight than those 2 fights. I mean, I'm just thinking about it. You know, Michael Chandler, Eddie Alvarez. I mean, if we really think about it for a while, you could throw some others up there, but as far as coming forward and throwing bombs and 2 people who just want to leave out of there with the W and nothing else, those are the 2 fights I think about. So when you're looking at Joanna potentially getting that fight again, how can you not pay her at least $1 million? Because she is talking about going in there and beating that last performance. Now, I know that'll be hard. We all know that'll be hard. But if there's one person that I will not doubt, and that's Joanna Jędrzejczyk, okay? So look for her to come in here and get that title fight again, and then hopefully she gets paid what she wants. She's not talking about getting it immediately. She says there's other people that do deserve a title shot, but she's saying that she's not going to take another fight unless it's for the belt. She says that she doesn't have to prove she's the #1 contender. And I'm thinking the UFC might even do an immediate rematch for Joanna. I know they usually don't do things like that. We all know that. Very rarely. Very rarely. But who deserves it more than Joanna? Tyron Woodley is saying that he will do 3 fights in 3 weeks if that's what it takes to get to Usman. Now, Tyron Woodley, we all know Tyron Woodley is the guy that has the devastating power in that division. And if there's anybody that can do 3 fights in 3 weeks, it might be Tyron Woodley, okay? But we have to think about this. He isn't known for his cardio. He isn't known for hanging in there in the later rounds. He's known as a big, powerful dude that will knock you out with 1 punch. Okay? We know about his wrestling pedigree. He was a good wrestler in college. We all know that. We all know that. But Tyron Woodley is not known for his cardio. And so when I'm thinking about 3 fights in 3 weeks, I'm thinking this dude is going to have to get a knockout in the first round in every single one of those fights to get to Usman. And I just don't know if Tyron Woodley could do that. You would have to think, well, the first fight be probably him and Leon Edwards, right? All right. Then the second fight, he's talking about Colby Covington, you know? What? I mean, look at that. Look at that. How is Tyron Woodley going to do 3 fights in 3 weeks? It's not realistic. I'm glad that he is wanting to get back in there. You know, he was a little choosy in fights before, not wanting to take the Leon Edwards fight. Now he is just chomping at the bits. A lot of these fighters are. They want to make money. They want to make money, and how do they do it? By fighting. I'm glad that Tyron Woodley is wanting to get back in there, but it's just not realistic. 3 fights in 3 weeks. But I am hoping that Colby Covington fight is the one that he gets next. We all want to see that fight. That's the fight that the fans have been screaming for. Tony Ferguson reveals why he cut 24 pounds in a week for a fight that isn't happening. And you know, pretty much Tony was talking about, it's for the commitment, it's for my team, it's for my sponsors, yada, yada, yada. But you know what? I believe that Tony Ferguson did this to add to the Tony Ferguson mystique, okay? We all say Tony Ferguson is the type of guy to, well, Tony Ferguson is obviously the type of guy to cut 24 pounds in a week for a fight that is not happening. Now, who else would do that? Nobody else. Nobody else. Especially right now with the situation that's going on. Anybody can get sick or whatever, especially during a weight cut. Tony Ferguson is a man without fear. And a man without fear is a dangerous man. And I don't know if there's a more dangerous man in the 155-pound division right now. The UFC is trying to trademark Fight Island right now. Now, how in the world is this happening? The UFC just does what they want. You know, hey, we have a Fight Island and we want that trademarked. I mean, I could see them right now making shirts that say Fight Island, hats, sunglasses. They've tried to trademark all of those things. They're going to try to make as much money off of Fight Island as they can. And you know what? That is smart. That is smart. These guys are a multi-billion-dollar company for a reason. And hey, they make money whichever way they can. And it's kind of funny, you know. Hey, Fight Island is now trademarked by the UFC. Well, not yet, I don't think, but it will soon be. We can all count on that. And hey, sounds like something Dana White would do, right? So Zabit is sparring with a goat to stay sharp during the current situation. You know, Zabit is one crazy dude. He has some of the most unorthodox style striking you can think of. The dude can take you down. He has great jiu-jitsu with the calf slicer, sorry. The dude is just an all-around fabulous fighter, okay? No, he might be the best fighter in the 145-pound division. But I would say this, instead of sparring with that goat, he should be running with it, because we all know Zabit needs to work on his cardio. His striking is up there, but his cardio, I don't know if it's ready for a 5-round fight. And after the Max Holloway fight, I think Zabit will be next for that title, unless Max wins and they have to do a 3rd fight. So right now, Zabit, instead of sparring with that goat, he should probably be running with it. Just what I'm saying. So I don't know if y'all have seen this or not, but Dylan Danis sends a video message for people doubting his striking. And it's pretty much him getting hit one time and then returning the punch. So I don't know what Dylan Danis is really saying. If he was wanting to put out a video showing his good striking skills, I would figure he would put out a video of him, you know, teeing off on a dude or something like that. But instead, he just shows him getting hit and then him returning a punch. I don't know if that is good striking for Dylan Danis. Maybe it is. Maybe he's not used to throwing any punches whatsoever. I'm just saying the dude should have put out a better video. That video right there doesn't prove anything about Dylan Danis' striking skills. If anything, it proves he can take a punch, I guess. I mean, I don't know what he's trying to say here. It's kind of dumb. I mean, Dylan Danis usually has good, witty things, but this was just stupid. I mean, it was stupid. So Stephen A. Smith says he understands why Dana White is so persistent and trying to hold these events right now. And pretty much he just said, you know, Dana White says that he's going to do these things. So, you know what? I think it's a good idea for him to follow up on his word. That's pretty much what he's saying in the video that I saw of him talking about this. And so I don't know if Stephen A. is just trying to win some MMA fans back, because a lot of them, if not 99% of them, think that he shouldn't be at an MMA event. You know, I don't know if this is just him trying to win over some MMA fans. I believe it is. I think Stephen A. is, you know, kind of like, man, I'm a little hurt right now because none of the MMA community likes me, so let me stand behind Dana White, because that is what most MMA fans are looking for right now. People that are wanting these events to take place. I think this is simply Stephen A. Smith trying to win over some MMA fans, and that's it. That's all I believe it is. So Dana White says that he has this whole thing figured out for the May 9th card. And you know what? Since Dana White said that, I'm just going to take him at his word and just, you know, look forward for this fight, because there's nothing to worry about right now. Of course not. Of course I'm still worried. Of course that I'm still scared. I don't know if this fight's going to take place. The last time we got all the way up to the week of the fight, and then he gets canceled. I'm glad that he's saying these type of things. I'm glad that Dana White is confident. He's a very confident man. But I am not at ease from him just saying that he has this whole thing figured out. I want proof. I want proof. I do not know of anything. They're saying it's going to take place in the States, most likely the Apex Center, but the Nevada State Athletic Commission has not said that they will let them do that yet. So where is this fight going to take place? In Florida, where the governor is saying it is? Dana White's not talking about that at all. There is no hints that this fight is going to take place in Florida. So I have no idea. But with Dana White saying this, I think we should all just take a deep breath and feel a little bit more confident. Alright guys, appreciate you watching the video. Look forward to seeing y'all in the next one. I want to remind everybody to please give this video a thumbs up. Really helps out the channel when you do. Also, subscribe for more MMA content, and we will see you in the next video.